Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the agricultural uses of microorganisms. It's really very important if microorganism helps like farmer to increase their crop yield without using chemical fertilizer, then farmers can save their cost as well as the fertility of soil will also get maintained if we will use the microorganism. Okay, so let's discuss how microorganisms they are going to help in agricultural field also. Okay, so see, in our atmosphere, let me discuss like over here. Okay, in our atmosphere we have 78% nitrogen, right everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 78% of nitrogen we have in our surrounding. But that nitrogen is metabolically neutral. That nitrogen is metabolically neutral. That means that nitrogen is not going to absorb either by the plant or animal. Whatever the air that we use to breathe during the inhalation, it contains 78% of nitrogen, but that is not going to absorb in our respiratory system because it is metabolically neutral. That's why it is not going to absorb directly. So we are discussing about the leguminous plant. Leguminous plant. Leguminous plant. Leguminous plant means those plant they have two holes in their seeds. Okay, two holes in their seeds are called as leguminous plant. Okay, beta. For a leguminous plant, like we have gram, we have pea, and they contain two holes in their seeds. That's why they are called as leguminous plant. Understood?
Sir, can you once again repeat about it?
Okay. Do you know that pea or the peanut or the gram? You know that, no?
Yes.
Yes. So if you will break that pea, you will find two holes in their seed, like two part. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So such plants are called as dicotyledons. Dicotyledon. Dicotyledons. And these dicotyledons plants are called as leguminous plant. What a leguminous plant?
Dicotyledons
Yes.
contains leguminous bacterium.
Yes. So we are discussing about.
Sorry.
Wait. Let me discuss. We are not going through that. I'm just discussing. I'm making you understand about what are dicotyledon plants, and they are also called as leguminous plant. Have you understood that first, everyone?
Ma'am, sir means we can tell
Yes,
the leguminous plant. Other name is dicotyledons plant.
Yes. We can say. Like we have gram, we have pea, we have soybean. All these are the leguminous plant because they contain two cotyledon in their seeds. That's why they are called as dicotyledon. Okay, everyone. Okay. So now I'm.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you might be having like seen like in gram roots generally we used to eat that gram during the winter season. So in their roots, they have the taproot system. They have the taproot system, and in their root, you must find such kind of root nodules. These are called as beta root nodules. Okay, they are called as root nodules. Understood that? Root nodules. Okay, in root nodules, okay, if you will observe them under the microscope, you will find in root nodules rhizobium bacteria they used to grow there. Rhizobium bacteria. These are the rhizobium bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria. Okay, and rhizobium bacteria have capacity to deposit free nitrogen of the surrounding into nitrite and nitrate form. Nitrate, Nitrate. nitrite and nitrate form beta. Okay, and these nitrite and nitrates are nothing but salt of nitrogen. Salt of nitrogen. Okay, this nitrite and nitrates form of nitrogen are nothing but the salt of nitrogen. And these salt of nitrogen, like nitrite and nitrates, can easily absorb by the plant. Can easily absorb by the plant. That means we can say, due to presence of rhizobium bacteria on the root nodules of the plant, leguminous plant, they can have nitrogen around them, right? In
Yes,
order
sir.
to
Sir, it will not take directly, right, sir?
yes, the plant do not have capacity to absorb that 78% of the nitrogen, but they can absorb easily that nitrite and nitrate form of nitrogen easily. Okay, that
Sir,
means
directly they can absorb 22%. Sorry. Yes, 22%.
what?
Sir, you are telling leguminous plants can absorb directly 22%
No, 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 no,
of
no, no,
nitrogen.
no, 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 not like that. Leguminous plant do not absorb that nitrogen. 70. See,
Okay,
in
okay.
that
I understood.
78% is percent of air.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
sir. It is
Yes.
present in the
Then
air.
yes, 100% of air contains 78% nitrogen only, then
28.1.
21% oxygen, then carbon dioxide and other gases.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So out of that 78%, plant and animal cannot absorb nitrogen directly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. But rhizobium bacteria have capacity to absorb that nitrogen, and it converts that nitrogen into nitrite and nitrates. And that nitrite and nitrate form of nitrogen can easily absorb by the leguminous plant. Okay, understood everyone?
Sir, nitrate means it is a water soluble nitrogen.
Yes. Like you can say urea. Okay, like urea.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, it will soluble in water.
Yes. And like other plant will absorb that nitrogen for their proper growth and development. Okay, everyone? Yeah. So can we say that plant is beneficial for, see, what bacteria is getting from the plant, that we have to discuss that first. So bacteria gets, number one, shelter in plant, number two, food for the growth, and number three, water. Okay, so bacteria gets shelter, food and water from the plant, from leguminous plant, we can say. Is it or not? So this is the plant is going to provide benefit to the bacteria, and plant is getting nitrogen. Plant is getting nitrogen from bacteria due to bacteria. Is it or not? Do reply.
Yes.
Yes. So here bacteria is getting benefited by the plant, and plant is getting benefited by the bacteria. So here these two different species like bacteria and leguminous plant, they used to provide benefit to each other. That relationship is called as symbiotic relationship. Understood? Okay, let me write here. When two different species, when two different species, or two, like we can say the organism of two different species, we can write like also when organism of, wait a second, when two organism of different species providing benefits to each other.
Symbiosis.
Okay, when two organisms of different species providing benefit to each other is called
Symbiotic
as
relationship.
yes. Symbiotic relationship. Okay, everyone. So can we say here bacteria being a microorganism providing like benefit to the plant, okay, according to the the part we are going to cover here, okay, where here agricultural uses. Can we say that microorganisms are useful for the plant growth also? Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I hope you have understood completely. So do you want to go through that part, theoretical part? Okay, we'll go there. See, blue-green algae and bacteria such that rhizobium that live on the root nodules of the leguminous plant. Okay, on leguminous plant such as pea plant, soya bean, gram, pulses, etc. help in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen and increasing the fertility of the soil, because that nitrogen which is converted into nitrite and nitrate form remains in the soil itself. That's why fertility of the soil is getting increased. Nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle. Someone is in waiting room. Wait a second. Okay, Carol. Okay. So nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle. Okay. We are going to discuss now. So nitrogen fixation is the process by which free atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogen compound, and that nitrogen compound are nothing but salt of nitrogen called nitrite and nitrates. In nature, nitrogen is fixed during the lightning or by the nitrogen fixation bacteria and blue-green algae. Leguminous plants such as pea plant and soya bean have capacity for the nitrogen fixation. That's why they are called as nitrogen fixing bacteria, and they present in the root nodules of the leguminous plant. The nitrogen fixed by this bacteria is taken up by the plant and stored in the tissues as a plant protein. This stored nitrogen passes from the leguminous plant to the herbivorous, even omnivorous. And from herbivorous, it is been transmitted to the carnivorous plant. That means nitrogen enters in our life cycle from the with the help of nitrogen fixing bacteria called rhizobium. When this plant and animal die, the nitrogen compounds present in their body are decomposed and returned back to the soil again. Some of these compounds are again absorbed by the plant, while some of them converted into the nitrogen gas and returned into the atmosphere back. So this is nothing but the nitrogen cycle. Certain bacteria present in the soil, this recycling of the nitrogen between the atmosphere, soil and organism is called as nitrogen cycle. So distribution and recycling of nitrogen to the different tropic level of atmosphere is called as nitrogen cycle. So let's discuss here how it works basically. So nitrogen cycle is a natural cyclic process. Okay, it is a natural cyclic process in which atmospheric nitrogen enters the soil with the help of rhizobium bacteria and becomes a part of the living organism, because plant is going to absorb that nitrogen going to transfer to the animal, means herbivorous and then carnivorous and so on. Before returning to the atmosphere, a simplified representation of this process is shown over here. Okay, so this is the nitrogen cycle. Okay, see, here we have the plant. Okay, here we have the rhizobium bacteria. You know, they generally grow in these root nodules, as you can see here. Okay, so nitrogen fixing bacteria inside the root nodules, they present there and they fix the nitrogen. Then that nitrogen is get absorbed by the root of the plant and it enters through the life cycle. Okay, means nitrogen compound in the soil. This nitrogen compound in the soil, okay, get absorbed by the plant, and plant converts that into the deposited into the food. Okay, so plant eaten by the animal, the nitrogen then from plant passes through the herbivorous, even carnivorous. Like suppose if we are eating gram, peas, that means that nitrogen is entered in our body also. Then when this animal die, okay, or they used to remove the waste material out from the body through the process called excretion, and they undergoes decomposition, and due to decomposition that soil again like get reached by the nitrogen again, means that nitrogen get mixed in soil again. Okay, when animal die they also undergoes decay and decomposition of the organism, and again there's nitrogen deposited in their body, they again mixed in the soil, and part of it get mixed into the air in the form of nitrogen gas. Nitrogen released by the bacteria in the soil, this takes place with the help of rhizobium bacteria through the nitrogen fixation. Okay, and during the lightning process, during the lightning process nitrogen also get fixed, like bacteria and blue green algae also fixed. So due to lightning process, that nitrogen of the surrounding they get also fixed into the atmosphere, because when high power of light passes from cloud to the earth surface, most of the in here in atmosphere we have 78% of nitrogen, then 21% of oxygen. So that nitrogen and oxygen they get transmitted, they used to transfer that high power voltage of current from cloud to the earth. So that time they get converts into the nitrite and nitrates. The oxide of nitrogen is formed, or we can say that nitrite and nitrates are formed and they get mixed in the soil again. So this is the process, the different process by which microorganism and lightning process and other processes, defecation and all decay decomposition, nitrogen again get enters into the soil and it gets recycled again and again and again. So this is the way how nitrogen get enter in our life process. Okay, so now we are going to understand about the environmental uses of microorganism. See, microbes such as bacteria and fungi act on the bodies of the dead plant and animal and convert them into the simple substance. So we can say these bacteria and fungi are nothing but the saprophytes, and they totally depends on the dead organic matter for their nutrient of animal and plant. Okay, so they used to decompose, means they are breaking down the complex compound into simpler form, so that this simpler form of the compound or the nutrient can be easily absorbed by the plant. Okay, that's why they are called as decomposers. Bacteria and fungi act as the decomposers. These substances are used by other plant and animal for their survival. Removal of the dead bodies by the action of microbe keeps our planet clean. Okay, so we can say like microorganism like bacteria and fungi, they used to clean our environment and our planet. Bacteria also uses in sewage, they most of the bacteria they use to treat the sewage. Okay, bacteria also use in sewage treatment where they help in decaying waste organic matter of the carbon. Okay, means they used to decompose hydrogen and hydrogen carbon compounds, hydrocarbons we used to call them. Okay, so we have one like bacteria called alkanovorax. Alkanovorax, it is been used to clear the oil spill. You know what is oil spill, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, when
What
suppose,
is this, sir? I didn't understand.
okay, suppose we have, this is the ocean and we are getting crude oil from the Gulf countries, like, right? Gulf countries, crude oil for petrol,
I
diesel.
think ships or
Yes.
something.
So we used to transport that crude oil from Gulf countries to India with the help of large ships, right? And that crude oil are filled in the barrels, like big tank. And most of the time, due to accident, if these tank get burst or may fall on the ocean, oil will mix in ocean. Water is it on the upper layer. This is called as beta oil spill. This is called as oil spill, and that oil spill can be treated easily with the help of alkanoborax bacteria. Okay, everyone.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so here also, in order to keep our environment, our planet clean, we are using microorganism. So this is all about the useful microorganism we have covered here. So by next lecture, we will cover harmful bacteria and other microorganisms.